Good morning. So, it's been roughly 3 weeks, almost a month now, since I started working at my services as a full stack developer, no less. So, not just front end for me anymore, even though there is quite a bit of front end. But, that comes with the territory. And I'm getting more and more into Scala, so I thought I'd give you some thoughts on my first impressions of Scala. So, first and foremost, I was really excited when I started. It's actually one of the main reasons why I wanted to take a look at this job and get involved, because it's something that I find extremely interesting. The idea of working with functional programming within Java, with the Java platform, because there's so many things that are, for better or for worse, it's very nice to have stable, robust technology such as Java for development work, especially when you work server-side. And you know how much I love types. Types is my thing. Typing is, in my opinion, one of the most important things there is when it comes to at least server-side development. Though, what I kind of realized very quickly about Scala as first impressions is that something I'm not really a big fan of is inferred types. It's actually funny because in the past I kind of thought that, that's not a bad idea. Go has inferred types as well, and other languages as well, but it's only really now when I'm starting to look at all these different function names and function calls that, it's kind of dawning on me how useful it is to have strict, or rather verbose, or how do I put it, to be, instead of having inferred types, it's very nice to be upfront about having what type you're gonna have. Because the thing is that now that I have all these functions and I call them and whatever and all these types, especially when you're just new to it and you haven't seen all these and remembered what the different return types are, it's very difficult to it gets tedious rather to check what the type is, and you kind of get back to, honestly, in some small way, it's like coming back to JavaScript again and having to check the code every single time to know what's actually going to happen and be returned right. So that's one thing. And also I'm not IntelliJ, maybe it's just me, but I've struggled a lot to get IntelliJ to work nice with Scala. It just doesn't work. It is so poor when it comes, I'm using 2017 I can't remember now, but it's the latest version basically, and it's so poor at symbol imports all the time. It keeps telling me that I have compilation errors or errors, whatever. And the real reason, I have to have a second monitor where I run SBT, which is, for those of you who don't do Scala, SBT stands for Simple Builder Tool, I think. Not something like that. And it's basically a package management system and building system for it. Think of it as Maven, like Java's Maven or npm for you JavaScript people for Scala. And it has some nice features, but I really looked forward to, and I'm actually very disappointed, because I was really looking forward to having this nice kind of what I'd had in Eclipse back in the day when I did Java development, a really strong, powerful IDE who helps me with all this stuff, because these conveniences make things very nice when you're working, especially server side. If you have a typed language, these are the things that you really want. Otherwise, what's the point? But anywho, apart from that, I am also being a little honestly Scala is it's kind of bittersweet, because a lot of the things that I liked about it is weighed up by things that I really don't like. Implicit values is one of those things. I really think that's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever seen so far. It's so dumb. It is so fucking dumb. The idea is basically from my narrow understanding of it, is that you can actually express that a value of some sort can be it's basically a global. It's basically a way for you to declare a global or a package-wide variable that magically gets injected wherever it's needed, which means for you, who's coming in now as with fresh pair of eyes, you kind of have to know that, you know, the materializer or whatever class you're going to use is going to need certain implicit values, because otherwise your interface won't work. So it messes you up quite badly. It's basically, it feels like they forgot how horribly wrong PHP got global variables, and how poor the experience for developers and maintainability of a project was back in the day when everybody was doing everything in global scope. It's the same thing in JavaScript. We're told to not use global variables for this very reason, yet Scala kind of embraces it in a way that I don't like at all. So that's not a favorite of mine. I really like futures. Futures are really nice in Scala, so that's a really good thing. And what else is there to say? I absolutely love pattern matching. Pattern matching it's just great. The match block is amazing. Although I still think, like, I finally decided that if it's gonna be between Scala and Elixir, I'm gonna go with Elixir. Like, I can live without types for the benefits that Elixir give me, because like Scala is it's not bad in any way, but Elixir is better. Like, that's my it's not in any way supported by any type of facts. I just feel that way. I love Elixir, and Scala isn't even close to being as nice as Elixir. It's not even in the same ballpark to me anyway. And what else is there to say about Scala? Well, I'm basically just still kind of learning things as I go along, but apart from implicit values, which as I said, I think is a really bad idea, since everything is a method in Scala, very quickly you see the type of thing that I once again, I really think it's so dumb. It messes me up quite a bit. Like, they have all these quirks that they're doing there, Scala has its own quirks that feels very unnatural to you, at least to me, if you come from any other language. Because everything's a method, you have people who declare like special pseudo DSLs and like specific, like special syntax that feels like it's basically magic that you can put in anywhere in the code, and you know, all of a sudden you're reading some code, and in your testing library, star is actually a method name with a specific type that can actually be injected. You can just put in a star wherever you want, or a keyword here and there that is not really a keyword because it's a macro that somebody made for some. Like, very quickly you come into something that I really dislike, and that is that you kind of you lose consistency, because you can basically do anything with the language itself, or rather not everything, but it's kind of the same way I feel about overuse of operator overloads in C and C++, C++, where you can basically change the behavior of the equal signs or something like that. And that to me is very dangerous. It's the same anti-pattern as putting your own functions on native objects in JavaScript, like extending the native APIs. In my opinion, it's just a bad idea. It just messes people up. But yeah, so those are my first impressions of Scala, and hopefully as I work with it, my opinion of the language will improve, because I mean, I just started, so I might change my mind about a lot of things, but so far, not really my favorite language, I'm sorry to say.